Hey guys, thanks for watching Beyond Local again. My name's Steve Blackburn, Director of Operations here at LSEO. I'm filling in for CEO Kris Jones today, so I know it's probably not going to be as good as when Kris does it, but we're going to do our best. And what Kris has only had once, I've got the pleasure of my secret weapon today. We've got the handsome, the talented, and the freshly shaven Michael Ruth. How we doing today, bud?
Doing great, Steve. How's it going, man?
The sun's shining, the birds are chirping, the Grateful Dead was playing upstairs. So today's a fantastic day.
What more do we want?
Maybe a little fish, but we'll get into that. So glad to have you on. I saw that you wrote a blog post this week, and it got put up on the website. So if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to talk about that a little bit.
Of course.
All right, so the name of your blog post is Clusters in Content Marketing. That's a bit of a tongue twister for me anyway. Maybe you can get it out, but I was like, clusters in content market. It should be easier. I've been doing this long enough. But anyway, so tell me, what are topic clusters?
So, topic clusters it's a model for how your website's content should be structured. It's a hierarchy, basically. It's some people call it like the wheel and spoke model. It's content like an intricate web of content that's all based around like one subject. So you have in the center what's called a pillar page. It's like think of it like a general overview of a subject, and then all around it is supporting content in the form of, like, usually we do blog posts, and those sort of break down that main subject into more like specific subtopics. And their purpose is to to get specific with it for readers and for search engines, but also they support the pillar page by linking up to it and to one another. And that's the model that is kind of the present and the future of content marketing and SEO.
All right, perfect. So Michael's giving us all of this advice because Michael is our top content writer. Well, I shouldn't say that. We have a lot of great content writers. Michael's just, he's on the pecking order, as we'll put it, toward the top. So Michael is the lead content writer for LSEO. So, brother, tell me, how did you get into wanting to write content? What made you wake up one day and go to college and say, well, I'm going to be a writer?
Well, so interesting thing is, I think in grade school, I hated English classes and writing. I think it was because I didn't fully understand the rules that they taught you, like diagramming sentences. I don't know if you ever did that. It was just tedious to me.
I did get through grade school.
Now, in high school, things just changed, I guess, through maturation and, whatever.
Got through there, too.
It's a rough time, though.
It
high
is,
school,
it is.
for sure. But things just sort of took shape, I think, in high school, where writing started to come naturally to me. I was realizing that I didn't have to struggle to get good grades in those classes. And I think eventually it became a hobby. And then I thought, this is, I think, something I can channel professionally. So when it comes to SEO content writing, my thought is if I can do a thing well, that's fine. But if I can do a thing well and use it to help, others in any way, that's great. So that's kind of how I approach, my writing and how, I employ it to help our clients.
So I'm sure the first writing you were doing with those devilish good looks were, love notes to girls in high school, right?
You know it.
I figured.
Yeah.
I mean, you seem like a regular Casanova.
Lady killer.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Tori's a lucky lady. Look, Tori, because I know you're watching. Lucky lady. So, Michael, we talked about what content clusters are, and you talked about the hierarchy of content clusters. But tell me how they're structured. Go into a little bit more detail there, because when you talk about a hierarchy, that's, I want to say, a loose term. So can you tell me a little bit how someone would want to structure their content clusters?
So if you were a business, take any small business, doesn't matter what it is, you provide a service for people. So or multiple services. So each of those services would have what's called a pillar page.
Right.
It's, like I say, a general sort of overview on what that is. And it covers, a bunch of subjects, but just very briefly, because I guess we'll get into this in a minute, but you don't want to cover too much of too much, if that makes sense.
Are you trying to talk down my blog posts right now? Are you saying something? Is this a subliminal message?
Steve, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, okay. Now he's lying in front of camera, so continue.
So that's a pillar page. Now, the structure of that then falls like the supporting pages we would consider, I mean, if you think about it visually, like below that. So okay. They support it in the sense that they get more specific on those different areas that you might not want to go into great length on in the pillar page. So you do topic research, keyword research, and those supporting pages, you can write a whole lot more about this subtopic that you wouldn't necessarily want to put in the pillar page, because then it just gets too much. It's too long.
Apart my stuff.
And honestly, people don't want to read like 10,000 words or whatever it is.
We'll call that a matter of opinion.
It's most people's opinion, I guess.
Where did you get your polling data?
Just living, I guess.
All right.
Living and learning.
The School of Hard Knocks?
Yeah.
All right. So here's my thing. You've talked a lot about how this is done for businesses. And obviously we work for an SEO agency, so we do a lot of our work for businesses. But little birdie told me that you also have your own blog.
So I do.
So the birdie didn't lie.
No.
So first off, what's the name of it? Let's give you a plug, man. We need. This is for our users to also let me allow myself to curate some new content for the internet. So.
Sure. Well, so I have a music blog called musicalrecord.com, and it focuses on sort of the psychology of music, and also based around like my own personal music interests.
All right, perfect. So do you also follow the same ideas when coming up with topics for you to write on your own blog? Like, are you writing content clusters for your own blog? I'm telling you, I can't get it out of my mouth for some reason.
Well,
the right way.
Yes, so I am. I mean, I admit that I have to build out a ton more content because it's sort of a new venture, but that is the model that I'll be working on. I mean, so for instance, I have a fairly comprehensive post on Bob Dylan, right? And the emotions in his music. He's not a demonstrative man, but his music, you find a lot of moods and feelings in there. So I don't think that I'll ever write like a more comprehensive piece on how I feel about his music. So, I mean, that I would consider my pillar page. So anything in the future that I write about Bob Dylan will sort of be, structured under that. It'll be a little more specific, probably shorter. And then once that's written, those pages would link up to the pillar page, and the pillar page would link, down to the supporting pages. It all works in tandem like that.
Perfect. So I love that. I have read your blog, and it's really good.
It's really good.
Yeah, I'm struggling because I want to be like, well, people want to read 10,000 words, but I really like your blog.
That means a lot. Thank you.
Maybe I just have to change. I'm not changing though, in the way I do things. But no, there is a time and a place for both. So we're having a little bit of fun with that. So your blog though is fantastic, and I enjoy reading it. So what made you? We'll get off of content clusters for a minute. What made you want to do that? Because I want to hear more about Michael, the content king, and the the world's music blogger. So tell us about why you wanted to start writing a musical blog.
Well, I love writing in my free time. However,
Love notes. Lady killer.
Well, yeah, as we said.
Okay.
However, I don't like the idea of keeping a journal or a diary. I just think, whatever's like that personal, I just don't want to put on paper. So I can kind of curate, what I want to say with a blog. But it was also important to me that if I'm going to be writing things of that length and with that detail and the research that's involved, because there is a lot, that someone be reading it, right? So I do want to interact with people. So it's got like I kind of support that like through my Instagram and stuff like that. And I like using it to kind of find people out in the world with similar interests, and we talk about things and share ideas. And I guess the other aspect of it is that because I write for a living here every day, I wanted to make sure that I never got like too burned out where I wouldn't want to write in my free time. So that's all part of it.
Okay, awesome. So one of the other things, and we're gonna get right back into the business side of this, if we may, is I feel like I read a lot. It's my job. I look over the stuff that you write. I look over the stuff that the team writes. I'm reading business journals every day. I'm reading industry publications. I read a lot of stuff. So I feel like a lot of people are still trying old SEO tactics, and it's and it's funny because I write in a different style, and it's long. I write these big long blog posts, and it's funny. So last episode, Landis was on with us, and she couldn't wait to kind of give me a ribbing about, oh, well, Steve writes these ultimate guides that are 10,000 words. And Landis, let me correct you. That first one was only 8,900 and something. So it wasn't 10,000.
Yeah, that's long enough.
Again, that's a matter of opinion. But but I did write it in a way that, it was about company culture, and it was an ultimate guide to company culture. But I focused on maybe 5 to 7 main points. It wasn't like I wrote the history of law in the United States, and then we're getting into constitutional law, family law, elderly law, divorce law. I guess that'd be family, but whatever. So I feel like, though, I start reading all of this stuff, and half the time I'm like, what's the message? I feel like they're trying to keyword stuff, and they're trying to push and rank for too much stuff. Can you get into how you come up with A, what you want to write for, and B, how to rank for it?
Well, so the way I would do, I love SEMrush and its topic research tool. That's where I generate my topics from. It aggregates, for those who don't know, it aggregates data that people are actually searching for. So then we can, take those headlines or questions and actually write for them so that we're writing relevant content. Now, using that is how we would build out supporting content for these pillar pages. And that's called writing for topics, right? So people want to know certain things, and Google is so smart now, like with its BERT update from just about a year ago, that you change a word or two around, and suddenly the intent is different.
Correct.
Right. So it's so smart that you're going to want to do that kind of accurate topic research so that those supporting pages are addressing actual queries, and Google knows how to pull that and show it to people. Now, people who work in digital marketing, they know that keyword stuffing it's an old-fashioned black hat technique. But I've even, like you say, I've even read pages on websites like today that you do the keyword stuffing thing. Like you just see the same variation of a keyword phrase kind of all over. Keywords today are just kind of little signals that Google will use to say what a page is about, like as far as its subject, but to really get granular with it, that's what BERT is all about, natural language. So combining topic research with natural language, like BERT will emphasize, that's the way to get the stuff that you're writing to actually rank.
Right. So what you're saying is, as we're just having a casual conversation in front of the world, we're talking more naturally. I'm not trying to use overly big words or trying to SEO, pay-per-click, just talk about things that we could write as headlines on or tags on like a YouTube channel because, well, it's not natural. So are you saying that Google looks at things the same way?
It looks at things exactly, pretty much like a human would. So, writing like we're living in the 1600s, not going to work. And people don't think that way. They don't talk that way. So writing, think about writing for humans. Think about talking to other humans.
Okay.
That's how Google interprets our language that we write in our content.
So what you're telling me is you're using a tool, in this case SEMrush, that is based on Google queries, which are typically, Google is just, they're an advertising company now, but they're an engineering company at heart, right? And we use it as a place where we type in a question and get an answer.
Yeah.
So that's how you use a tool that finds out the questions that people are asking on Google, and that's how you write for what people want to know, correct?
Yeah,
did I summarize that?
Yeah, it's interesting that we use machines to write in a more human way. Funny to think about that.
Well, your other option was you could always ask Pants, what he thinks would be the best keyword.
So she would respond with sort of an irritated howl.
For those of you that don't know, and fun fact about Michael is Michael has a female cat, Pants, and Michael has taken many photos with Pants on social media, so I didn't know where the start stop with your relationship with Pants and your topic generation was. So the people are curious. The people need to know.
I love you, Pants.
I love you, Pants. Only because Pants brings me joy.
Well, as you'd expect.
Yeah. Well, that and your Instagram skills with Pants are on point. I feel like Pants is an extension of my family, and until Pants, I really didn't even like cats all that much.
Many people don't.
Well, I still don't, but I like Pants, so that we'll go there. So 1 for Pants, still 0 for cats in Steve's book, but just in case you're keeping score at home, you're probably not.
I would say not.
But so all right, content clusters. I don't want to say that it's new. And our industry is always emerging, and if you don't stay on top, you're on the bottom. It's
makes sense, I guess.
It's what was that movie? Talladega Nights, right? If you're not first, you're last.
I haven't seen it, but yeah, it makes sense.
That's right. You're the I don't like Will Ferrell guy. You see that? So I'm the no cats. He's no Will Ferrell. We're gonna have to do an online poll and see who agrees with who more.
We're even.
Well, again, that's a matter of opinion. So topic clusters, again, I don't want to say that they're new, but what I will say is Google's machine learning and rank brain and everything else, the BERT update, it's here to stay. So can you tell me how Google ranks content? And more importantly, but don't tell me, can you tell the people how Google ranks content and how they can write not just content that kicks ass for them, but so that it can get out in front of their people and the world can know about it? Because you could write something that's awesome, but if you're buried on page 11, good luck.
Doesn't matter, right? Well,
so can you help my people?
It just,
people.
It comes down to topic clusters, right? So, writing something great for your business, that's fine. It's great. Like you say, if you're not found on Google, doesn't matter. So write for topics, not for keywords. Keywords are, they have their place. They matter. But, people want to know specific things. They're using more longer tail keywords now, in their queries. Mm-hmm. Those extra words or whatever you're doing, that matters to Google, especially since BERT, but like you say, topic clusters aren't particularly new. They are the present, they're the future. People who want their content to rank, businesses who want to get found based on their content, look up, my blog post, read more about the topic cluster model. It's here to stay, and it works.
All right. Well, folks, thanks for tuning in. Michael, Ruth, thank you for joining us.
A lot of fun. Thank you.
So before I let you go, though, really, really difficult question for you. Gonna give it the dramatic pause. Three favorite Bob Dylan songs, go.
Mr. Tambourine Man, Tangled Up in Blue, and Thunder on the Mountain.
All right, perfect. Hey, guys, episode 17 of Beyond Local, Tangled Up in Blue, Forever Young, Visions of Johanna. Thanks for sitting in. Chris Jones wasn't here today. I hope that you enjoyed your time with Michael and I, because I know that we enjoyed the time doing this. I think Chris will be back next week, but if not, and I am definitely willing to settle up and sit in for him. So again, guys, thanks for sitting in for Beyond Local.